That's just so we know.
Yeah.
You can sync it up. Just so you know. So, today, new topic is we're going to talk about body image. And the question I'm going to start with is, why are BBLs now so hot?
Yeah, they always have been, ladies.
First of all,
No. I mean, as in take start. You can start as in not because of.
I'm gonna start because
Sorry,
cosmetic surgery too. But to be honest,
I feel like this is more your topic that I feel like you should start with. That's what I meant.
That's reasonable. But anyway, I'll talk.
I didn't mean it in the disrespectful way. I meant it in the. Let me keep digging. It's okay.
No, it's cool. I mean, I honestly, I don't know what I can say to that. I feel like maybe as we talk, opinions will arise because personally, I don't really see them as hot. I still think it's like an individual thing. If we bring it back to body image, then yes, I think that's a great, heavy conversation in itself, especially with women and also men, because it's another thing that stems from your childhood. And again, the people you're around, what you see, culture. I'm African, but some African cultures actually don't like a bigger woman, and some African cultures do. So again, you're split in the middle. So it stems from so many things. In terms of BBL, everything always goes back to social media, especially in this day and age. That's all it is. You turn on to TikTok, and again, like what I said in another episode, is you actually don't realize how it influences you until maybe you sit down and you think about it. I remember I would scroll through TikTok and I'm like, maybe I do need a breast reduction, but for what reason? I never thought about it until I'm constantly scrolling through and seeing people try on clothes before they're like as their normal breasts and then post. So I gained like, oh wow, this is influencing me, and I didn't turn it off, I didn't delete it. It just is what it is. At the end of the day, I was like, in myself, I don't need it. It's fine. This is just the way I am, and I'm good with it. So that's just again me personally. Whereas another person might say, no, I need that, and I need it today, because then that's them. And then you have to think about, okay, their self-esteem, what else is going in their head, what else, environmental factors or their friend factors that are manipulating their mind to think that they need such a thing. Again, it might not be self-esteem, it might just be, I like the way this looks, I like the way that I'm going to look with this said cosmetic procedure, and that's fine. It doesn't have to mean that they hate themselves. Maybe that's going to give them more love. What's wrong with that?
I'm glad you brought that up actually, because I was going to lead on the more toxic note of. I'm glad you started that, because I think, and again, it's not like this for everybody, but I think a lot of people just want to be black. Not everyone who gets one, obviously. I don't want to generalize, and that's why I'm glad you actually said that people do it just because they want to do it for themselves. But I think like some of the demographics I've seen getting it, I'm like, who's your favorite artist? Chris Brown. Chris Brown. Chris Brown should be Tyler. Like the same. Like I'm just like I'm not saying everyone who gets a BBL likes that, but I'm just like I don't know. I feel like I need to remind myself that it's not a generalized thing, because sometimes I see those things and I'm just like, I remember you making fun of that, in high school. You know what I mean? Because obviously, like with the BBLs and when we get the lip fillers as well, I was teased for the I was teased for my lips in high school, and now I'm seeing the lip fillers. My sisters were teased for their kind of body shape a little bit in high school, so like now I'm seeing BBL. So like, my mind kind of goes straight there, but I mean, obviously. Well, typically, as black people tend to have those features, we're also like, it doesn't exclusively belong to us. However, a lot of the influence does come from.
I think it's the lack of the acknowledgement is probably what you.
It's
that lack of acknowledgement that it is very common within black body shapes and stuff to have like bigger thighs, bums, and even big lips and stuff. But yet everybody made fun of, and not just black people, like being Turkish, like it's quite common in Turkish culture and some other like Middle Eastern cultures as well, but it was always made fun of, especially when it comes to black people and how much like that look and was not the stereotypical like definition of beauty. Now all of a sudden, because hip hop culture has become such a trend, now everybody wants to get into the hip hop culture, whether you're black or not, but it's like BBLs, big lips and everything, and like everybody looks the same now as well, purely because of those features that aren't actually common within, whether it is their nationality or their ethnicity.
I was gonna say the same thing. I think in this society, a lot of things are becoming trends. So I feel like BBL, especially, is a trend. That's what you were saying, like with it being on TikTok and stuff like that. Like people see it and they're like, "Oh shit, everyone's doing it, so let me do it as well." And what you were saying as well, like white people want to be black because at the end of the day, when we were in high school, they were teasing us about it, and now they want to do it. I think it's them trying to be accepted within our culture, because I feel like we're already calling them out with other shit. You cannot call somebody out with the BBL, because at the end of the day, you can put it the way she put it, like it's all because of how I want to do it, not because I'm following a trend. But we all know that undercover line is because it's a trend and people think it's cool. Like nobody knows the risk factors of it, like to the T. They're just doing it because they're seeing other people do it.
I think another thing we have to remember that everything before trends, there's a standard, there's a beauty standard, there's a standard of this, a standard about Their standards have been since then. Your standards back then were purely about white people, because I mean obviously back then black people were nothing. And it was this slim figure, there's nothing else with it. Now, along with this trend, and we can say trends because of social media, but behind that trend is the standard. The beauty standard is your Kim Kardashian. And majority of who is following her or her family are also white people and every other race. So to them, that's the beauty standard they want to follow. So forget about black people, because we're going to meet white people on the street as well as black people that don't give a fuck about us, okay? They couldn't care less. But they've seen Kim Kardashian, they've seen her family and all these other people having these surgeries and cosmetic procedures, and they want to be like her. So it's not always just then back to also a cultural thing.
But then in regards...
And it's not just white people.
In regards to that, like, obviously you're saying that it doesn't stem from Kim K and stuff like that, but Kim K's, most of her family are married to black men. So what is that? What is the beauty standard they're trying to set in order to get those black men? It's that shape, right? And that shape stems from black women, or what we, so basically at the end of the day, majority of it does still in a sense stem down, like Nancy said, stem down to our beauty standards, what we have, shape, lips, whatever the case may be. That's what majority of other races, not just white, could be Asian, could be whatever it is, majority of people are going ahead and changing their bodies and doing that because they want to fit into that like pop culture, that hood culture, if that makes sense.
Hip-hop culture, literally.
Yeah, like literally fit into that culture and say I have a big ass and la-di-da-di-da.
Yeah.
Because, that's just it. Majority of it, what I would say, it does really stem down to trying to be black.
Without actually being black and having to deal with all the shit that you guys deal with all the time.
Exactly.
And can we also talk about the fact that when it comes to a certain point where they're more mature or they've gotten like their life together, that's when they start moving away from that black aesthetic as well, where it's like Kim Kardashian's reduced her bum size a little bit, or they've gone away from the whole like, what's the word? Or like that, I guess, ratchet or ghetto or whatever look that they, initially like don on themselves, and then they go to the more sophisticated upper white class woman or whatever. Like, so many celebrities have been called out for it as well. You've got people that are constantly called out for blackfishing or whatever it is, and then all of a sudden one day they just seem a little bit more white, marketable all of a sudden again. So I think you can't have this conversation about BBLs without talking about race, without talking about that, set of privilege as well, where you can actually change and look a certain way, and all of a sudden you're the look.
Because back to what you were saying about, the standard being of white women that were skinny, that's what people were going towards, and that's because that was the beauty standard of white people. So now the beauty standard is so-called black people of a certain, how they look, and so it definitely stems back to that. And also another fact with BBLs and all this trending stuff that's going on, it's like people are just so insecure. That's what I would say. Majority of people are very insecure. I used to be like that. I used to feel like I needed to hide myself. I needed to not post. I had a belly. I had this. I had thighs. I had all this stuff. But in reality, this is our body. Like, what I'm saying? If you want to change it, maybe work out. Some people, like she said, some people just love it, you know, they just want to
Yes.
add certain things, but at the end of the day, there's a root for that. There's a reason why. It's what society has put into your head, what you're scrolling, what you're seeing, what your favorite celebrities have on, or whatever the case may be. And that's what causes all these gaps and
It's the
insecurities.
constant ideal bodies and
exactly.
what you should,
So-
like what you're apparently supposed to look like.
Yeah.
Which is all for them just so they can sell their clothes and whatever it is.
Yeah.
I think, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, like, so like, at what point though is it like, this is kind of going beyond just BBL specifically, just kind of cosmetic surgery in general. Like, at what point is it, you know, problematic, and what point is it just kind of liberation, taking charge of how I want to look? Like where is that line?
Why wouldn't you want to improve your looks if you can?
Sorry?
Why wouldn't you want to improve yourself if you can?
Yeah.
That's the question.
Yeah. Well, that goes back to the body image issue as well, right? Because at the end of the day, when you're constantly berated with information of like what you should look like and you don't look good enough, then again, that argument will always come through for that whole, it's my sense of self. Like, I'm actually not against any sort of surgery. Like, if someone genuinely, like, and I believe it, like, if you genuinely feel like you need to change something of yourself because it really does impact your mental health, like, yeah, why wouldn't you do that? Like, do it in that sense of, you know, making sure that if that's going to help you lead a better life, by all means. But then I think it is also very important that you acknowledge like so many other nuances that come through with like what type of body image are you going for? What image are you changing yourself towards? And how does that actually impact other people or has impacted other people as well? Like, I think it goes back to the self-involvement, or sort of, not saying everyone who does it is self-involved, but in general, like humans being inherently self-involved and always just kind of thinking about themselves and need to stop and think about like what kind of impact does this have in general, like in the outside world, because yes, it might just be your body and it doesn't affect anybody, but it actually has over so many years. So it's like there's
just a lot of body dysmorphia.
There's
like,
a lot of
in our
issues
time,
with it.
like a lot of body dysmorphia. What we see, like
gym culture and
like
everything as well,
just too much body dysmorphia, and it's kind of sad for the younger generation that they have to see majority of celebrities or people on Instagram that feel like, or that are basically like schooling people on going to get their body done. That's basically what it feels like to me. Like for the ones that, you know, like a breast augmentation and stuff like that, people need that because, you know, their back hurts from the pains, stuff that, you know, you need to probably get surgically done, like that goes with plastic surgery. That's kind of fine, I guess, to a sense. But for people that are like Ari Fletcher, like the Kylie Jenners, like even the Kardashians, even though they have work done, they still go ahead and Photoshop that stuff. So it's like, this is what people are buying into, but it's like, is it really even something that you should, you know, risk your life for? Because BBLs, that's a risky procedure. A lot of people die. Fat cells die in your body. People's bums rot off and stuff like that. There's like a whole YouTuber. What was her name? I don't remember. There was a whole YouTube. Sorry?
Miss R Fabulous?
Yes, Miss R Fabulous. She went to, I think, Turkey, and she got her, you know, BBL done and stuff like that. And her ass became literally lopsided and stuff like that. She went through the worst time of...
Sorry.
No, like literally, like,
seriously,
like her
it
fat
happens.
cells died, and you know, her, like, she literally almost lost her leg and stuff like that. There's so many people
I've heard
that
that
are
people
going
literally
ahead.
have died.
Yeah, like people are literally going on social media or YouTube now and saying, look, you want to get this procedure, but you need to actually do your proper research on the doctor, on the procedure, on your body type, everything, because all of that is a factor on your health. Talk to your doctors and stuff like that, because people are just flying overseas, going to these cheap places or wherever. It might even be expensive, and they don't know that even though you pay for this procedure, it's never 150%.
Yeah.
It depends on you as well as
There's
the person.
a lot of like health related, right? Like even just like when you said research, I remember hearing a story about it where someone went and got like all this surgery done. She got a BBL, but like the doctor kept going and he was like taking fat from other parts of her body in general, and it's like too much fat that it took from her, and she ended up dying. It was just this whole chaotic story, because it's like sometimes they don't actually know like what like their limits as well, and they keep going. So yeah, it's actually
you know, with everything,
crazy. Yeah.
there's a risk.
Yeah.
Absolutely everything. We don't know what's going to happen. I think in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, this is just going to be another avenue. Like I said, there's different people. One, that it's the body dysmorphia. Even if I'm treating someone or someone comes to me and I know this person has body dysmorphia, I'll say no, you need to go home and reflect and actually think about why you want this treatment and why. Like, just literally think about it, because I'm not doing it. But who cares? There's a clinic down the road. I'm going to go there. See ya. Who are you to tell me this? Because it's so ingrained in them as well. Another thing that we have to realize with all beauty standards on all these cosmetic procedures and things like that is, you could be 16, 18, you could also be 65 coming to get a treatment. So are you now saying the mind of this 65-year-old, and yes, they might have had body dysmorphia when they're young, but that might not be true for them right now. So I still think, personally, this is me, I still think it just comes back to what you want and why you want it. There's going to be, and what we see on TikTok, on social media and all these things, is the bulk of, you're always going to see negative reviews in anything. People are always going to be quick to tell you a negative review. She might not have posted a video if everything went right. Because why? It's so much easier to complain. Also remember that. I think it's such a big topic. And this is just, like I said, it's just my opinion. I think it's not something you can just pinpoint and say it's that.
I think because this is such a big topic as well, is why a lot of people don't give the bad reviews. Like, I feel like with this BBL stuff, if it was not for Miss R Fabulous, we would not know all about this lopsided bullshit. Like, because K Michelle tried to say it, because she's been suffering with that. So until a YouTuber or an influencer, that's why I feel like we need more positive influencer in the world for our future generation. Because with the ones we have right now, we're gonna keep going backwards.
For sure.
That's what I had to say.
But it's like, what is this promoting? It's like promoting this unattainable image, and just like, especially towards the younger generation. Like, I have a little sister who's, I forgot her age. Please
edit this in.
Like, she's 11 or 12. And the things that she comes to me with is genuinely heartbreaking. Like, I remember her in primary school just saying to me, I'm too fat. I was like, what are you comparing yourself to? And she's like, well, the Jenners are like skinny. I was like, what? It's like
Maybe their paycheck is fat.
but it's like they're just, you're like 10, 12. Like, how
sad.
Are they affecting like such a young person's mindset on their body? It was so heartbreaking, and I was like, how do I get you out of this mindset? And it's so hard. It's like, once it's there, it's like engraved that she's not good enough because she doesn't look like this typical, or not even typical, but like what everyone's trying to look like. And it's like, I just had to tell her, you have to just look in your, like, everyone has flaws, everyone has parts of themselves that they don't necessarily love, but as soon as you accept that and just learn to love it, you realize, I don't look like this person. I'm happy with the way I look, and I love my body for it. Like, it's gonna take me, it's gonna give birth one day potentially, like, it's gonna do so many great things, and it's just so hard to ingrain that in some like a little person's mind when they're just so fixated on like what the ideal body is, body shape is on social media. It's all they
scary
see.
again, like I said, from a young age.
I was crying with her. I'm like, stop.
I also just wanted to say, like, one of the, like, so obviously, like, this whole topic, like, I find that the BBL or like just other types of things that people do might seem like a trend, and I feel like if people don't realize sometimes it is a trend, and that you shouldn't really commit so hard to trying to obtain whatever's relevant today, they will just continuously, they just won't know who they are in general anyway. But like, for example, the reason why I think it's kind of like a trend, and that's why it's kind of almost dehumanizing to people who carry those like features, is because like you have to live with that all the time, and one day it's okay, one day it's not okay. It just affects everybody around you. So like, even in the past, if you look at like the way they used to draw women with like non-existent waist, and it's like that actual idea has not changed if you think about it. The only time it changed was like the 1920s when everyone was like wearing straight dresses, but then it got rid of that real quickly and went straight back to the small waist. And I feel like this is just a new version of what they've already like sold to us as like the idea of perfection, but now it's more like like perfection everywhere.
Yeah.
Whereas like before there wasn't really the avenue to make perfection everywhere, but now if you can make the top, the bottom and the middle perfect, then like apparently that's the perfect person. But it's just like we just all need to learn that like one day you might be the beauty standard and the next day you might not. So if you just learn to like be comfortable with yourself, as you said, and then just even dress or just do things to suit yourself, you will be attractive, or you will be comfortable, you'll be confident.
Will
It's
you?
all about that
Will you be
confidence.
attractive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's people like you asking questions like that that make me.
The thing is, like, not too long ago, like, I can remember, like, articles being written about women throwing up in bathrooms, models having to throw up in bathrooms, maintain the skinny figure. And now it's like people want to get a BBL, go to the gym to get fat ass or whatever, get their breast done or whatever it is. Like, at what point do you stop if you start?
You don't.
Like, right now,
You have to
like, this,
maintain
like you said, this is the trend now. In 10 years, not even 10 years, in like 5 years, it won't be the trend again. Are you going to try and change your body? You're going to get a arse reduction because the BBL is not in fashion. Like, so the key is like being confident, being secure in yourself and who you are. Like, be healthy. If you want to work out, do all those things that you need to do. But be confident and healthy in yourself that you can, I don't know, walk anywhere and be like, this is who I am. I'm okay with it.
Do you think the fact that getting a BBL can also play a part of putting food on your table?
If you're like,
That's a really interesting question.
if you've chosen like that kind of
'Cause-
career path, that like, for example, if you're an influencer and you know that you're not going to get any work unless you look a certain way, it's obviously something. But that's, I feel like, when you're going into that industry, you will be aware that there will be stuff like that will happen.
Is it weird that I think that the major factor of BBLs is because that is, like, again, what you said, the standard, and the standard of actually paying your rent through that, because Instagram models, YouTubers, all that, you have to have a perfect body for you to get the perfect audience. So I feel like that plays a big part when it comes to this whole BBL.
But I also feel like if you're trying to make your career out of how you look, you've got to actually look different. Like, you can't look like everyone else. So if you know, like, Winnie Harlow, like, she has like if she did not,
She broke that standard.
if she did not like decide, okay, I'm sick and tired of covering up my face and like my skin, she might not be as successful as she is now if she tried to look like everybody else. So it is like, okay, you might be able to make some money now looking like everybody else, but how long can you sustain that when everybody looks the same? Because that makes you replaceable.
Literally, that's the thing. It's like
So
the whole body image.
So can I interrupt real quick? What about just going on body image and things like that? Now they're promoting, they're promoting an overweight image, like you see Nike. They're promoting all these people that are kind of like, they're a bit bigger, but then they're big, but maybe you can say maybe they're healthy, maybe they're not. But how do you feel about that becoming a more of a trend? People, companies promoting any sort of body type, body shape, and then saying it's healthy.
I think we'll. Oh, sorry,
it just comes down to money. Like, they want people to buy their clothes, so they're gonna try to promote to as many people as possible. They don't care if it's healthy or not. Like, as long as that's gonna make money, that's what
I think it's a PR move.
But I also think it's a move towards making sure that everything's like inclusive.
That's
what it is.
I mean, even sorry.
I was just gonna say, if all you're seeing is one type of body, then you're going to think that if yours is different, it's wrong. So even if they're making money off it, I still think that it benefits the majority of society to see different things, because otherwise, like, people are missing out on opportunities, people are like miserable, and it's like things like that influence the way you see yourself. So
I feel like most part of like companies think like that, but I don't think they all think like that. 110%, I feel like they never care about who they don't care about your mental health and stuff.
No,
like
but
that.
I know that. But what I'm saying is, like,
should,
it doesn't matter.
Because you're working. Like, if you have if you have a healthy mental health, you're able to project better, work better, think better. So if they, like, that's how you see that what you were saying about models throwing up, blah blah blah, because they did not care about models and how they starved themselves, how they ate, is the reasons why they had to go through stuff like that. Now they still do not care, because, okay, for example, what you just said, that's a trend as well. that's a trend, yeah. It's, with Lizzo being like, okay, I believe everybody can be how they want to be, but you have to think about your health and you have to think about your mental health at the end of the day. But they're promoting that, okay, you're unfit, you're not healthy, but we're going to continue promoting that so we can sell our stuff and more people can feel like, okay, it's okay to be like that, you know?
But I
Does that
actually
make
don't
sense?
know if people actually, like, I haven't heard any companies actually go out and say, okay, we've got all these different types, shape of people. Every single one of you is healthy.
Well, I was actually going to say that on that question, actually. Like, I don't think that Nike or any company is saying it's healthy or it's not. I think they're just showing the people in the clothes, and I think that's what needs to happen, really. Because
I think they're just saying, like, this is human and so is that.
Yeah, literally. I mean, and
But
again,
do you guys think it's a good message to send out? Because a lot of people out there who
no, but they're not
are,
sending. This is
when you post someone out there that
Indirectly.
has like is a lot bigger, or whatever, and
Yeah.
you're posting it everywhere, it makes everyone else who's that size think
But
that
are you
this
trying
is
to
okay.
say that-
But then, like, a
Okay.
company like Nike is also a sports brand company. So if they're seeing somebody of their size in that
In
like outfit,
clothing,
it'll be like, okay, you know what? I feel empowered now to go
yeah,
ahead
because
and
I
do
mean,
what I need to
because
do.
I mean,
Because
I think Nike doing it is different
To
than like a
Nike do it well.
Nike do it
Nike
well,
actually do
I
it
feel
well.
like, but then there's other places that
Other
like
companies.
this is healthy.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying people can't be bigger and healthy because
Yeah.
technically my BMI is above. I'm overweight BMI wise, and I'm healthy.
Yeah.
So, like there's people who are bigger, who are skinnier, that are still healthy.
Yeah.
But then there's some people that you can see and you're like, that isn't healthy, but
Yeah.
like they're promoting it as healthy. I just think it depends on what the promotion is and like what are the words behind. What they're
But do you reckon it's just a trend though? Because like obviously, inclusivity is like the thing right now. Everyone's going to be
Yeah.
including everything, and if the trend is doesn't matter what size you are, you're a model, you're beautiful, you're this, you're that. Do you reckon every company is just jumping on that because hey, this is what?
That's
what I'm saying.
some companies are, but some companies are genuinely doing it because we need inclusivity.
Yeah.
Like, we need people to be seen, shape, color, size, whatever they are. We need people to be seen and feel like they are beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking about BBLs before. Like, it's all about setting a different, new, brand new perspective on beauty standard and everything like that. So some companies, for sure, are jumping on the like bandwagon, like PLT was for sure. They were jumping on that and just putting more black models and stuff like that, when usually it's just all white models, you know. So some companies are generally doing it to just make money, and some are actually trying to push for inclusivity because that's generally what our generation
I feel like
needs.
now it's also like if you're jumping on, you're not just you have to jump on because otherwise,
Yeah.
what is it saying about you
About
as a
you.
company?
It's,
So,
there's no middle line with stuff like
Yeah.
this. Like there's actually no middle line.
just-
but I don't think
But when you
that's,
get
but
to
that's
that
what I'm
point-
saying. I don't think that's a bad thing
Yeah.
because what we're doing is pushing for change.
We're forcing society to change.
No,
Yeah, exactly.
I reckon it's a bad.
How do you think that's going?
I reckon it's a bad thing for
I
sure.
think it's going
Why
well.
do you think
Okay,
that's
so
bad?
I think it's going
Hang
well.
on. Why do you think it's a bad thing?
Okay, because say this, right? Everyone is just okay to just do whatever they want because it's out there for everyone to just hey, doesn't matter whether you're this, you're that, it's okay because we've allowed it. Instead of pushing this, hey, you got to be healthier, you got to be this, you got to be that, and everyone who sees that, say on TV, social media, thinking, hold on, I got to change myself, I got to be better. So if they keep pushing out the negative, or they're not really saying it's negative, they're just pushing it out, saying it's okay to be this, it's okay to be in your room, eat all the time, whatever, just like let yourself go, okay, because that's okay. Everyone who's doing it, who are lazy enough, will just catch on to them, like, cool.
But what
Doesn't
what you're describing though has already been the case, and I mean the lazy people you're talking about have existed, or like it. What you're saying won't make a difference whether that's pushed more or less. It's not about, again, even with the question talking about pushing as healthy. I mean, look, I haven't seen it being pushed as healthy. I've just been seeing it as expressed with inclusivity. Like I haven't really seen that. Oh, you need to be this now. And honestly, in terms of being healthy, it's not really about the size. It's like, whether, like, are you healthy or are you
But
Yeah.
don't you feel
Sorry.
more people are like just like catching on to it because like it's a trend?
Not really. I don't think people are catching on to it. I think people are just like, look, because I mean, even if you are overweight to a point where it's affecting your health, like you shouldn't feel. I mean, even if you feel the need to improve, you shouldn't feel self-hatred for it. Like you should still love yourself and who you are. And you know, even when you look in the mirror, it shouldn't be out of, oh, I look disgusting. It should be, oh, my health is a problem. And the issue is, I'm not necessarily saying you think this, but I think that mentality comes from, oh, this looks bad. People like to pretend it's about health, but it's really like, oh, I just don't like, it's just I just don't like how it looks. And that's the problem.
In most cases, they do overlap though. So like in terms of, yes, it is about health, but I'm saying the way that what we perceive to be attractive is not that. So like they're overlapping. But I just wanted to go back to your point when you say they're not promoting it or saying it's healthy, but it's kind of like, if Nike know they've got this platform, they're being looked up to, their reputable brand, all their stars are wearing Nike. So it's like, if they start smoking, you might say, oh, okay, well they're not saying that smoking is healthy, but the role models or whatever people are putting on the platform, they're smoking. Well, it's kind of saying that's
everyone knows. But the difference is everyone knows that smoking actually like harms your health, right? When you see a big person, that isn't seeing that big person doesn't mean they 100% live an unhealthy life. It could be so many other factors.
Well, not 100%, but usually that's the case.
I wouldn't even say.
No, it's actually
I have multiple different friends with different sizes, and if we all did the exact same exercise every single day, we'd still all look completely different.
Part of like genetics,
like the thing is, weight has weight has actually been established by so many other factors. Like genuinely, it has. Like there are so many even now doctors are more aware fat isn't just because you're overeating or you're lazy. Someone's metabolism working faster than someone else's literally means that they could eat the same meal which is still healthy, but someone would keep that weight on because they don't weight is just calorie deficit and intake, right? So at the end of the day, however much you're taking in and however much you're burning out, when someone else's metabolism is working slower, even if they eat the same meal, that person will stay heavier than the other person.
Yeah, but we're not the same though. We're not the same.
But that's what I mean.
You and I, okay, so obviously I'll do things to maintain myself at a healthy standard that I think is healthy, okay, because I know how my body works and how fast my metabolism works. Yeah. And yours obviously works a different way to mine. So I'm not going to do the same thing as you and expect the same results. So obviously I'm going to do things that would work for me. So obviously, everyone knows that they're different in certain areas, so obviously do things that
will help you.
Exactly.
You compare what you did there, and I did the same thing.
But there are some people that literally try everything. They try dieting, they try exercising, they try these slim teas, they try everything, and their metabolism or their genetics just don't allow them to shed a lot of weight or the weight that they want to in order to be that healthy body.
If it's a health problem, then 100%.
But what we're saying is
it's big majority. Yeah, but that's not majority. Exactly.
That's why I say if it's a health problem.
Sometimes things like your socio-economic situation counts towards that. So if you can't afford like fresh fruit or healthy food, that's not really like, oh, you're choosing to like be fat. It's literally all you have access to. So like we're not just talking about genetics, we're talking about how much money you earn, all these things. Because like back in the day, if you were bigger, that was a sign of wealth because you could afford to eat more. Now we know it's the complete opposite. If you're bigger, it's because you probably can't actually afford or don't have access to the things that will help you. What, you didn't know that?
No.
Okay, let me give you a little quick do you know Henry VIII?
Yeah.
So like there's this thing where apparently like the kings and queens would have like multiple different food
meals.
Meals, right? Yeah. So they'd have multiple different meals, and then they'd get so full they'd go throw up and come back and eat again. That was because they were literally trying to prove to people that's how rich we are. We can eat so much.
What a flex! Didn't all of them die from obesity or some other?
Well, yeah, but that's literally overeating, right? Where like that's what I'm saying. But like they actually had all the choice in the world to eat whatever they wanted to
I thought that till today, if you had a big belly, that still means you're rich.
Nah, because I mean, if I eat McDonald's every single day, I'm gonna get that.
McDonald's is not cheap.
I think
unfortunately, like some cheaper foods, not just fast foods, but cheaper foods are high, like they're calorie dense. And then when people only have access to those foods, unfortunately, that also means that they're having a high calorie intake, even though they're not getting full. Because I could have a cheeseburger that's like 30 times the amount of calories that a apple is. But that could, like, you know, obviously I'm comparing apple to a cheeseburger. I know cheeseburger's more expensive. But you know what I mean? Like, as in some of those foods that are smaller, but actually higher in calories, are more expensive than the healthy foods as well.
Do you think the societies are playing a part with that? Because they're making bad food cheaper and healthy food expensive?
Well, no, I think it's coming to a point where we're actually getting like healthy foods becoming a lot more accessible, even at the more costly thing as well. So like as in at a better price for people to be able to afford and eat healthier as well.
Then, like,
That's a lie.
But then
But
there's
then
like a
there's-
McDonald's,
but lack of-
McDonald's and Hungry Jack's are like
But a lack of
every corner.
education also comes
And
into that as
everything
well.
else organic is like
Yeah.
probably more
Right, do you know how
pricey.
much grapes cost at Coles?
Grapes are expensive.
$40?
But like that's the thing, like
That's a whole pack
we
of
could talk
one
about
litre.
inflation and all that
Even
with like
more.
prices going up, but at the end of the day, there's also a sense like again, like unhealthy habits come from a lack of education. They come from like effects of mental health, you know, upbringing and what you've been told and what you haven't been told. But like if we put all that aside, like let's go back. I'm just going to quickly go back to, for example, the bigger image. So that whole inclusivity, I don't think it is actually promoting, like when they show someone who is bigger, who's wearing like one of their clothing, like a brand's clothing, that's not promoting unhealthiness. That's not going out there and telling people, like they're not saying, get out there and go eat your cheeseburgers, like get out there and get fat. I think a lot of people just associate that because there is a sense of discomfort for seeing people who are overweight because we've been taught that is not appealing, that is not attractive.
It's that fat phobia.
It's the fat phobia. It's like it's not even just like you might not. It's not just out of attraction. It might just because people have generally like who are bigger have been seen to be like obviously now not like back in Henry VIII day, but people who are bigger have been seen as like lepers to society. Like you're disgusting. You don't lead a good life and whatever it is. But representation matters as well. That little girl who's 10, 12 years old who might slightly be chubbier sees someone who looks like her on screen, is that going to make her feel so much better about herself? Or is she going to go ask about a BBL and being not as skinny as Kim Kardashian? So that's what actually really matters. When it comes to showing differences, we could all get BBLs and all look the same. That doesn't help anybody. But when you see different bodies, you can see that you're actually okay. And then you know what? When it comes to that mental health, when your mental health is better, you can then go out and actually focus on your health and live a better life. You said it before, right? When people are happier, they do their jobs better. They actually provide and benefit society in so many better ways. Nobody does that when they're miserable. It's actually the opposite. They actually cause more chaos and pain.
I reckon us as a society are just getting lazy and we're using all these as excuses to just keep going. I'm just going to say it straight because that's what it is though, okay? Because we have everything in our homes. We can just sit at home, get Uber Eats, literally be in front of our TVs just like all the time, okay? You know what I mean? No, I'm just saying, okay?
Anyway, the people that know me hate that. I don't like to get personal at all, but I'm just going to do it for the sake of people watching and here. I'm a bigger person, right? I can tell you that I've tried this, I've tried that, I've tried this, been in a calorie deficit. I walk more than 10,000 steps a day, especially when I'm at work. You know, I drink water, like I said before, like all the right things, right? And I'll go to the doctor, because I'm a nurse midwife, I really don't go to the doctor until I feel like I'm dying. Because what do they know that I don't, right? But I'll go and I'm like, look, and I said, I've had enough. Like, I don't know what the heck I'm supposed to be doing because everything is just wrong. And then, you know, I don't know if anyone's like a gym or into health. They'll say, oh, it takes 2 weeks to break a habit and all these type of things. And you'll pursue, like you'll push through. And you're not seeing the changes that you want. Then you get what? You get discouraged, right? And then you just go back into your cycle. Again, people that know me or probably if they will say, I don't even eat that much. It's not about eating. It's not about overeating. I don't go to McDonald's and be like, I want to eat it. It's not that. This is just something that people need to get into. It's just not that. I'm just being realistic. So I went to the doctor now. I'm like, you need to do every damn blood test. For me, and I'm demanding it because I don't know. Sometimes you go to the doctor and they're like, "Oh no, you don't."
They do the general blood
like,
test of a few of the things.
Exactly.
You know?
I'm like, otherwise, I'm going to write it myself because at this point, I need to know what's up. And it ends up being a thing. Like, of course, metabolism has a thing to play. There's other things, other factors that have
genetics
a thing to play
play a
that
big
you
part
wouldn't
as well.
think. Exactly. So it really isn't as simple as ABC. Again, if I was a person that was so insecure, and I'm not gonna lie, I am. We all are. There's all something that we don't like. Of course, there's things I don't like. I have the money to go and get a BBL and A, B, C, D, E, F, G, but I'm not going to because, again, I mean, I don't have to. I don't feel like I need to. I feel like there's still a way for me to follow what Des wants me to do and go down the right healthy track and eat this and train and just be motivated to do it even more. But again, it's hard when, again, I've been younger and I've been bigger and I've been around family, friends or whatever. that are like, oh, this looks good, and the next second, oh, this is too bad, and you're just throwing me like a yo-yo, like, well, what do you want? I don't know. And I have a boyfriend now, and like, again, what you said about the wealthiness, he's like, yeah, I've pumped you up. And he's happy about that, but meanwhile, I'm like, well, I'm not. There's got to be something there. So it's just painting a picture, because a lot of people will think like you and think that they see this person, and sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, I see this person, a plus size model, and they're like, or I don't know, the caption's like, be happy in your skin or something like that. And for that caption, I would say that's promoting the wrong thing, because I would look at it and I'd be like, well, no, you shouldn't actually be happy like that, because there's more to the story, and you've got to fix that. And
So
then,
isn't that contradicting what you just said? Yeah.
yes, in a way, but I'm just saying, I'm opening the table to Des, who's thinking that this person can do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And then I'm being honest in myself. This is how people think. This is how human beings think. That, okay, I'm like this, I'm like them. So why aren't I happy that I'm seeing them? Because at the back, I'm like, no, because there's actually something wrong with them. They need to go and find it out, and they actually need to go and get healthy, because I'm relating to them at the same time.
Yeah. So it's like a matter of projecting like what you actually feel is what you actually see there. So there is that element too, obviously. Yeah.
No, but I honestly still think society. Let me elaborate, okay? So we have everything, we have everything at our fingertips, okay? We can get anything we want, PlayStation, all that shit, okay? And we can just stay at home and do everything. You can even work from home, okay? So everything that pretty much allows you to stay at home and just be home and not exercise, not do any of that, okay? And then on top of that, we got all these, like Nike promoting, it's okay to look like this. The person that's sitting at home, I'm not saying this is everyone, okay? But majority of people who I've
Already
encountered, okay? They're like that. And I'm like, bro, you can change that easily. But the fact that society pushes that it's okay to be in this state, everyone just stays in it. But if it promotes, hey, no, try harder. No, literally go and do this and do that, will be way different.
Well, you know what? If someone wants to stay there, it's only a problem if they're not actually happy in that state. That's only. But if they're fine being that, then like why?
And the society is telling you that you should be happy in this state.
Yes, it is, bro. No. You're not understanding what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that because society. I mean, you say society is telling you to be happy to be in the state, but it's not though. It's not.
Society's not saying that.
It's not saying
Society
that.
doesn't say that at all still.
Because
When how's it? Can you elaborate?
Yeah, please.
Well, I mean, obviously, we're getting to see kind of more inclusive campaigns or whatever. But that's only like a recent thing, but it's still very much a part of kind of society and the ethos.
But I think you're saying society promotes being lazy in general.
Yeah, because
being sedentary.
But that doesn't even make sense.
No, being sedentary, not being lazy, being sedentary.
Being comfortable.
I don't think it's being promoting. I don't think society is promoting being comfortable.
If we're talking about the sedentary lifestyle, that actually again goes back to like Western culture and sedentary
Like
lifestyle.
we're in the new age of technology though. Like we're in the age of technology.
Comfort is just something that humans are just going to chase.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily societal thing.
Can I
People
just?
just want to be comfortable.
I don't know if you
But
guys remember.
imagine if it was the other way around, like the way it was. Like it's been switched over. Before it was okay to be skinny, blah 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 blah. Now it's been switched over. So imagine if it was the other way. So if it was a
It's
person that was
still in play,
oversized
though.
and was not happy with themselves, seeing somebody that was really skinny, that would promote them to be like, okay, let me go work out. Whereas if they were seeing a person just like them, which is okay, they're more comfortable be like, okay, this is somebody just like me. Even if they're feeling a type of way, they're not going to project it like that because they're being praised in that way.
But then going on from the saying you're seeing someone skinny and feeling like you can go and work out, that's what he was saying about the models going and throwing up.
Yeah.
Like there's a negative end to every.
There's a limit though.
There's a negative end to everything.
It's not negative. Like
I think
What do you mean?
how is you working out and betting
But those
yourself
models that we
negative?
see aren't the
They
working
wouldn't-
out models. They're the skinny
There are
ones.
people-
because in fashion, okay, or doing catwalk runways for females out there, anyway, it still happens today. There's an image that they want you to be like, which is why they only select
But
certain
that's
types
the
of
image
females.
that is posted on social media. So
No,
you're
it's not.
saying that
No, it's not.
yes, it is.
There is two. There's two.
No, but like even with the catwalks now, you're seeing a lot of bigger girls walk these
But that's
catwalks that
the same
don't
thing that's what
necessarily
doing.
fit
That's
the
what I'm saying. Though.
stereotype.
That's what I'm saying. That they're saying it's okay to be like that now. They're saying it's okay.
They're saying it's
also about
okay because for a
representation.
long
It is
time.
okay.
we were-
okay, but it's just
I
there.
literally
I
just
didn't
feel
say
like
it's
it's
that cold.
I feel like
They didn't say the cigarette
I feel like it's okay.
You just go there.
Everything.
No, I haven't.
Can I hear from Ken real quick? Thank you.
Yeah, so I think one thing we need to clarify is I think we're going back and forth. Like, I think maybe we're in kind of line saying, I'm saying them presenting this on that platform is saying it's okay. That's what I think.
But that's
That's-
how you're interpreting it.
And being skinny,
Yeah. So what's
and
the-
being skinny is okay when you see it as well.
Yeah.
But basically what I'm saying, as in,
That's what I'm saying. It's not
but-
contradicting.
hang on,
Like,
so-
both
I'm
ways
asking,
it
I'm
works.
yeah, so what I'm trying to clarify, as I'm saying is, if platforms with huge influence are showing a certain type of thing, that is what they're modeling. They know they're a role model. They know they have a huge following.
Yeah.
They're presenting a certain image.
That's a promotion.
Is them promoting
But
that
yes.
image.
But that doesn't mean that they're saying that this is healthy.
They're not
Everyone
promoting
look like this.
unhealthy.
They're just saying this is. We're just being inclusive and.
Our clothes
These
don't
are
open
real
the
bodies.
whole
Can
time.
These are
I
real
ask a
people.
question?
Just guys,
Hold
it's a
on.
whole
Can I
range.
ask a question? Can I ask a question? What is your definition of unhealthy? When you think unhealthy, what comes up in your head?
Like,
But you don't even
Someone that
be
can
healthy,
breathe
you should be
properly,
present, still be
someone that
unhealthy,
can,
right?
they have indigestion, they have problems like
Health
Yes,
issues.
like health
Yeah.
issues. That's
Someone-
unhealthy.
No, I was like,
I've
yes,
seen a
also-
big person that's
okay.
totally
Yeah,
fine.
someone who has genuine medical health issues.
So
I feel like
that's why
society has
based-
made
based
it
on,
that
like, lifestyle
as
as
soon
well,
as you
obviously,
have
but
a
I would
bit of
incorporate that
meat
in.
on you, you're unhealthy.
Yeah.
Society is not outlining that, okay, it has to do with your genetics, it has to do with DNA, blah, blah, blah. It does not say that. It's just saying, if you're fat, you're fat.
Yeah.
That's what society has put in your head. In your head, that you're thinking, oh, just because you're fat, you're fat.
I'm dead.
I think
Because you get, yes, you get, yeah. Okay, average, yeah, you and my boy here 10, yeah. You go to the gym, you work out, yeah. You go to the gym.
Why don't you pick me?
It's nothing against you guys do the same because he's in athletics, you're in the gym, you're still doing the same type of workout routines, but because you have a way of training your body, you have a way of your body, I don't know, training your body, you look different even though you guys do the same thing.
No, we
it's
don't.
all about the way a person.
We're done.
Can I just jump in here, right?
It might just be a real
No, for real, okay?
Hey, let's go to the gym
routine, but he's still getting the workout and the exercise.
Wait.
It's just a routine. that
I've
he's
been trying to
doing
say this
himself.
one point
Okay,
for like
please,
20 minutes.
Okay, go.
Do you remember that girl that came around? I don't know. She was like from England or something, and she was like, "We all have the same 24 hours."
Oh my god,
If
let's start on that.
you remember, if you understand that we don't all have the same 24 hours, then you can't say it is easy for you to get up and go and like.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Because when you
It's
said
not
easy, that's what struck me. I was quiet till then. Then you said it was easy.
Well, it is.
And then I
It's
realized.
not.
For you,
It's
it's
actually
easy.
not.
For you, it's easy because you've already
I
programmed yourself
work
to
12
be.
hours
But can
every
I-
single day.
that's-
Okay?
okay.
I could easily go, I am too tired, I'm not going to the gym today.
But it's part of
Easily.
your routine.
Okay.
But I force myself because I want to better
You're
myself.
disciplined
Okay.
to yourself.
But
That's what I mean. That's what I
But
mean.
you don't
But
have-
like,
you don't
have that being pushed
Can I-
into like.
So
Can I-
people
do you
aren't the
have
same.
kids?
Why should they
Wait,
actually
do you
be
have,
like you
do you
then?
have kids?
No.
Do you have anyone that is depending on you for you to like provide for?
I did. Yes.
So are you doing anything such as like, you know, cooking for them every single night or like
Washing,
you know,
dishes,
washing, cleaning,
Are
all
you
that
mopping your
stuff?
Yeah.
floor?
You know what?
Yeah,
It's. I get what you're saying on my 24 hours thing. Okay, because it seems like I'm painting pictures today using myself. Okay, I could work 8 to 12 hours in the hospital in this COVID pandemic, fucking dying, basically, looking after people that are dying, looking after babies that are born dying. That's all a mental. You know how that fucks you up?
Yeah.
When I get home, believe me, Des, I want to go to the gym. I want to be a catwalk skinny model, but I'm not going to be it in this lifetime because one, I don't even honestly, I don't want to be that. But when I go home, I need to now reflect on what I've done for the day.
Yeah.
I will try, I really want to go, but I can't. It's too much of a toll. Now, if you talk to me about the day off, sure, we can go together. We can all go for, a 5-kilometer run. I will do my best. But in that 24 hours that we both share working, it's not the same. I'm sure your job is very strenuous. I'm sure it is. And I'm not just saying because I'm a nurse midwife, but people also need to understand in that 24 hours, I've got to come back to reality that now I'm home, forgetting about your patients, which as an empath, that's really hard to do.
Yeah.
I've got to switch off. It doesn't happen.
Isn't that another way society promotes a sedentary lifestyle? Everyone works so much. everyone's so mentally drained all the time. We
And
can't
hustling.
actually do
Yeah,
things that we need to be.
But with
happy.
working out, I want to ask you a question. Is working out therapeutic for you?
For me,
That's why. That's
Well-
why you. So in me, therapy is music, okay? But I've come across people that have seen me like depressed and be like, if you go for a run, it will clear your mind. But that's because it's therapy for you. That's why you think like that. If working out literally frees your mind, like Fluke said, if therapy was, if working out was her therapy, she would be able to go and do 12 hours at the hospital, be full of something, and go to the gym and just take it out. Because that's your therapy. That's why you're able to be like, oh, it pushes me. Because you see it and you're like, shit, I need that. And you do it and you're good. It fixes you. That's your therapy.
There's also another case of like depression, for example. Like when you're in your brain, like literally, like, do we all know how the brain works? There's chemicals in there. It literally releases into your body.
Yeah.
Adrenaline, dopamine, whatever other endorphins. Those things physically impact you as well.
Yeah.
So when you're in a state where you have had, whether it's a lot of adrenaline because you're running around all day, whether it's like too much hit of, like, let's be honest, when we're scrolling, those hits of dopamine, for example, that constantly gives us this fix that we're looking for.
Yeah.
Those kind of things literally are like shackles and they're chains. So to call someone like, and I genuinely do understand where you're coming from. There's elements of discipline that definitely are involved in your lifestyle that you do.
Which is good.
Some people don't actually have that discipline. Some people haven't had that discipline and learnt that discipline in their life because of the way they had to survive growing up. Habits aren't easy to break. You tell me one of your bad habits that you've broken anytime soon. Like, at the end of the day, these other things are so much more of an impact and they actually do affect people's lives. Other than just, we have the same hours, you're being lazy. Like, I understand it may seem black and white, but this world is not black and white. It never has been.
I get that, but I'm just saying that.
But you're just saying
they're promoting everything other than, hey, better yourself.
So when did everybody start coming with
The mix
this?
is full of a mix of people.
But that's what I'm saying.
What are you following? What are you following? That's what you should
Hang on. Can I just ask though, did any of us come with this same energy when women were extremely skinny with rib cages? Like, I know it's been changed.
I wasn't around then.
It actually wasn't. Well, I am 30, so I was around when that was the trend. I'm 30. Yes, I'm 30. Okay. Apparently this is the thing. Yes, I'm 30. Everybody on camera. Thank you. But that's what I mean. Like, the society as a whole did not come with the same energy when it came to women who were overly skinny, who were actually extremely unhealthy.
I think they did.
No, they didn't.
They
They actually started.
The
Like,
90s was just run by.
it started getting like that's what I'm saying.
It happened eventually, though.
Like, it happened, it's gotten called out, but even then, the same energy
Only
that
now.
skinny people who are actually still unhealthy, like as in really skinny people who are on catwalks, campaigns, whatever it is, the same energy has not been given to the way society looks at them as it has for fat people. Never. Like, it never. I will put that here. It has not had the same energy. So if we're going to be giving this type of energy to people who are overweight, we should be coming with the same energy for people who are
Yeah,
underweight
because
and
with
really
people
skinny.
that's like a, I feel like
But
it's
because
a
skinny is pretty.
No. I feel like I've never seen skinny as pretty. Like, I just,
No, I know, but that's,
Like,
I'm saying
I
society as a
see,
whole, like,
that's what-
skinny is pretty, like,
the way
that's the
I've seen
idea.
That's the
skinny,
ideal.
the way I've seen skinny, like in me, I feel like I go through this moment where I'm really skinny and I can see it, but people are like telling me I'm not. That's like what anorexia or stuff like that. I feel like that plays a big part with stuff like that, because you're saying like we weren't able to attack that and be, because of that is why women have like now like transformed this anorexic thing, and that's why we are not able to like talk about that, because we cannot be in that perspective. Whereas people with weight, it's like we're working out, everybody's working out, we're all trying to be healthy. Whereas anorexia, it's a different thing. That's why I feel like it's not shone upon, because if you talk about a situation like that, you don't know who you're mentioning, because anybody could be going through that, whether you're fat, you're skinny or not.
Well, my final words are just that if we're going to put so much effort or like energy into the bigger person is unhealthy, we also need to make sure that you realize that there are skinny people who are also just as unhealthy, but for some reason it's more acceptable to look like that than it is to be bigger. And I think that's actually the point of these campaigns, that you can't actually just say that or tell from
Health is also a spectrum.
I'm great.
Thank you.
Health is wealth.
Health is wealth.
Thank you so much.
I got last words.